Let's start with there's been kind of a year. The last 12 months, a little bit longer than that, have been rocky and interesting in the world of OFCCP and federal compliance. So, Amanda, I think you're going to start and give the audience a little bit of an understanding of what is and has changed, so we can set the groundwork on where we're headed.
We might need more than an hour to, to tackle that topic. No. I'll just kind of start high level because, again, we don't want to assume everyone is intimately familiar with the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs. So they are an agency within the Department of Labor. They were formed in the 60s, shortly after Lyndon B. Johnson issued an executive order, Executive Order 11246, which I think we can get into and talk more about as well. But really, they engaged in what I would couch as proactive enforcement. They engaged in audits. So they're a little bit different. You might be familiar with EEOC, right? Or DOJ. We might mention those investigatory agencies at some point today. But OFCCP really did administratively neutral, proactive audits of the contractor space for various EEO and affirmative action regulatory requirements that you kind of sign on to when you become a federal contractor or a subcontractor. The last year and some change has been quite interesting because January 21st, 2025, there was a new executive order, Executive Order 14173. I'm sure Sheila and I will reference back to that a few times. 14173. You don't have to memorize that if you don't already know it. A big thing coming out of that executive order, though, is it revoked Executive Order 11246 that I mentioned was passed back in the 60s. And what Executive Order 11246 was your affirmative action and non-discrimination obligations, really as far as data is concerned, on the basis of race, ethnicity, and sex. And so those requirements were put into place because of an Executive Order 11246. So, as easily as you can issue that, you can easily take that away. So with the stroke of a pen, with Executive Order 14173 early last year, 11246 was gone. Affirmative action, non-discrimination obligations, as far as being a federal contractor is concerned, those regulatory requirements were gone. Now there's other, again, federal non-discrimination laws that are still in place, right? Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. Hopefully everyone is at least a little bit familiar with that. That is still in place, but huge change to the regulatory environment for federal contractors is that 11246 was pulled back. Your obligations to be creating very specific reports and engaging in very specific actions were pulled back. Now, there are still affirmative action and non-discrimination obligations in place for federal contractors, but only for two very specific protected characteristics: individuals with disabilities and protected veterans. Those are both based upon statutory requirements, so Section 503 of the Rehabilitation Act and the Vietnam Era Veteran Readjustment Assistance Act, or we'll say VEVRA from this point forward, and Section 503. Those are still in place.